In this video, I'm going to talk about a current division rule. So current division rule is useful to find the individual currents if there are two or more resistors connected in parallel. But if there are more than two resistors, it's a little difficult to find. So I'm going to stick with only two resistors. Okay. And if there are more than two resistors, I'll tell you how to find that value. Now, if you want to find what is the current passing through each resistor, how do we find this? So first thing, we need to calculate the total resistance, 10 parallel with the 20, which is 10 times 20 divided by 10 plus 20, 30, 200 over 30, which is 6.67 ohms, right? Now this is the R total. Now I can find V equal to R total times I. So 6.67 times 18, that will give you the voltage drop across each element. This value is 120 volt. Okay. Now, so I know the voltage across this is 120 volt. Now I can find I1 equal to V over R1, which is 120 divided by 10, 12 amperes. So out of 18, if 12 amperes is going there, remaining 6 amperes must go here. You can find I2 equal to V over R2, which is 120 divided by 20. So you can see 6 amperes. Okay. So to find the individual currents without current division rule, I have to do at least 3-4 steps. So to minimize these steps, there is a simple formula. So here is the formula. There are two resistors are in parallel. That's R1, R2, and I know I total. Okay. Now my goal is finding I1 as well as I2. Okay. Now to find I1 equal to total current I total times opposite resistance. So here I have only two resistors, so opposite resistance is R2 over R1 plus R2. This is the simple formula. So if I apply this here to find I1 equal to I total, which is 18 amperes, times opposite resistance is 20 divided by 20 plus 10. So 18 times 20 over 30, so 2 over 3, so 6 times 2, which is 12 amperes. So that's what we end up with I1. Okay, so if you know the current division rule, it's easy to find the individual currents if you know the total current and individual resistors. Same way, I2 equal to I total times R1 over R1 plus R2. That's I2 value. So this is how you will find I1 and I2. What if there are more than two resistors in parallel? So what I usually do, if there are more than two resistors are in parallel, like these three, okay, R1, R2, R3, and I know the total current I total, what I'm going to do, I'm going to combine these two resistors. So R2 parallel with R3, I'm going to label that as R4. Okay, now I have R4. Okay, so R1, here is my R4. My R4 is combination of R2 and R3. Now what I'm going to do, I know I total. Based on this, I can find I1 equal to total current multiplied by opposite resistance over total resistance, R1 plus R4. Based on this, I can find the total, I can find the current passing through R1. Once I know the current passing through R1, I1, so now I say the current passing through these two. Let me simplify this. So instead of connecting this there, I'm going to connect it right there. Okay, so now this red wire is gone. Now the rest of the current is going to pass through this, right? So the current here is I total minus I1. So now again I'm going to use the current division rule to find current in R2 and R3. That's how I'll find it. So I highly recommend you to remember this formula. We're going to use this a lot. The current I1 equal to I total times opposite resistance over total resistance. The next topic I'm going to talk about voltage division rule. So voltage division rule, we can use it for more than two resistors in series. So voltage division rule is useful to find individual voltages when resistors are in series. Okay, now say for example I want to find V1. Okay, I know the total voltage, I know the individual resistors. How am I going to find? First I need to find I equal to V over R total, which is V over R1 plus R2 plus R3 plus R4, right? Now to find V1 equal to I times R1. So I is nothing but V over R1 plus R2 plus R3 plus R4 times R1. So the easiest way to remember this is to find V1 equal to total voltage multiplied by same resistance. Okay, I'm using same resistance over total resistance. This is the voltage division rule. Okay, so for the voltage division rule, you're going to multiply total voltage with the same resistance divided by total resistance. Whereas current division rule, we're going to use total current multiplied by opposite resistance over total resistance. But this is valid only for two resistors in parallel. Voltage division rule, you can use it many resistors in series. Thank you.